News. Now, we're going to go back to the Beeb. I think the Beeb is under fire, as we said earlier, for casting an entrepreneur to try and flog what she calls ear seeds on Dragon's Den. Giselle Boxer said they helped cure her ME, but doctors have warned that they have no medical basis whatsoever. We were talking to former Top Gear presenter Steve Berry before. I think we got him back now on a much better line. Steve, hopefully you can hear us a bit better now.
Yeah, I can hear you great now, Mike.
Excellent stuff. Very good indeed. What I was asking you when I first talked to you earlier was that this is bad news for the BBC because Dragon's Den sort of sets itself out there as a show which sort of invites young entrepreneurs and sometimes old entrepreneurs to come to them with ideas that they might want to invest in, that might turn out to be something big, that might actually lead to everybody making loads of money. But the allegation here from Giselle Boxer is that basically she was not someone who applied to be on Dragon's Den. She was actually recruited to be on it.
Well, they've been caught doing this sort of thing before, haven't they? You know, getting people on for the kind of the age that they are, the gender that they are, making the programme look the way they want the programme to look. I'm sure Dragon's Den has got no end, even after all the many years that it's been broadcasting, no shortage of people wanting to come on and get some money off them dragons. But I would imagine that the problem for the BBC is they all tend to look a bit the same, the vast majority of them. So if you can get an attractive, well-spoken young woman on there who doesn't look like all the other old geezers that drag themselves and their products on there, with this alter... But watching it back, because I don't watch stuff like, you know, that'd be interesting. I think I watched a couple of programmes when it first started 20 years ago or whatever, but it's the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
But when I saw it, I thought, I can't believe that they didn't run a mile from this. It was like watching some snake oil salesman in an old John Wayne movie, extolling the virtues of his coloured water that he's selling for just $5 a bottle. What? It cures an illness that medical science doesn't know where it comes from and can't effectively test for it. I'm not getting in the middle of whether it's, you know, the illness itself, but back in my day, a producer would have run a mile from that sort of thing. But no, let's stick it out there. And then, of course, she didn't keep mum. She spilt the beans and sort of pulled the curtain back, and there was the, there was the wizard talking into a horn. It's like, unfortunately, the game's been given away. But they all wanted to invest in it. Is that real? Yes. I think you were saying that even though it's Steven Bartlett, who is the very modern and very 2024 face of that programme now, who's supposed to have invested in it, it's not him, it's his brother. It's not looking good, is it?
It's not really, no. And I've got a little Manchester angle for you as well, because apparently her pitch was the first time in the show's history that a product that she was trying to sell, or that anybody was trying to sell, received an offer from 6 different dragons, including, believe it or not, Gary Neville, who had joined the panel as a guest investor. So he was obviously fooled by it as well.
Well, I was thinking if they had a celebrity edition for Old Red Nose Day and they managed to get our current head of state on, he would have been getting in there before all them dragons because, as we well know, Charles has been a massive fan of this sort of alternative health treatments for many decades now. So I tell you what, let's push aside medical science and let's just, let's just go back to the pre-science ways. Mike, listen, I've got an idea. I know where we can get a massive bucket full of leeches. I'll stand on King Street in Manchester. You come in half and half with me. We'll split the money. I reckon we'll clean up, mate.
We could well do. And make sure you write something like this, because this is what Acu Seeds are described as doing, right? This is on the website. A DIY needle-free ear acupuncture for anxiety, migraines, hormonal issues, insomnia, weight loss, and more. And more is the bit I like. Anything you like, really.
The thing about those is you could just go for a walk, a brisk walk, and it'd have more or less the same effect. And it would cost you absolutely nothing other than shoe leather.
Yes. I mean, it is a very, very weird story. I mean, I presume the BBC has got other problems to look into, but, I mean, this will just pile, more ordure on top of them, won't they? Because they're not having a great time, are they, the BBC?
They're not, and and I love the BBC. I was there for ages, and it was great, and it's a world-renowned organisation. But I wonder, Mike, if it's something to do with kind of the kind of long, slow, horrible death of the legacy media. I was thinking today when I started there, we had 5 people doing a job, and 12 and a half years later, when I stopped being there as much as I had been, There were two people doing that same job.
Yeah.
And that's where the problems start, isn't it? The checks and balances that were there, the wise old head who goes, hold on a minute, this isn't a good idea.
Right.
That person isn't there anymore. And so these things are going to happen more and more.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Steve, great to talk to you. Glad we got the line sorted out. Steve Berry there, former Top Gear presenter, with the latest ruining of the BBC. This time it's Dragon's Den who's under the microscope. Apparently they're having to defend the show, but there's an awful lot of criticism going their way at the moment, and it's not looking too good